Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
Now, how would we define that? Who will be the approval? Who will be the approval list? In that approval list. So for that we go in the system and we define who will be our person who will have approval access. So for that I assign that approval role to somebody. So I'll just go right. So you will see under system administration, you will find approval process and roles. So I go directly to reference. From this, I go to this. So first of all, we have to define this process, the approval process. How would you actually create the process or define the process? So what is this? Let's go and see that. I'll click on. You understand the background, right? Why we need it. And when you created your item, you must have seen it. Otherwise, when you now create, you will see the level of approval. So I have created these many levels of approval, say 123. Let's go and see one of them. I click on this edit. So it says level on app for approval for September, whatever name. And this is public. This is not very assigned to somebody. What are the steps? I define it supervisor level. Who are the people who will be approving it? This is your supervisor level. Only one step. Okay. If I want to add one other, I will say to and step name. I will just write something like the matrix manager. But the thing is, you should have somebody as matrix manager in the system. Manager, I understand, I have manager all the time. But if I am maintaining anything else, like if I'm maintaining anything like matrix manager or maybe HRVP, sometimes these people are also responsible in order to approve our request. So for that we have to maintain it. Now if I enroll into an item and if this approval process is assigned to that item, this will go for 2 level of approval. Now you will see one more thing that is called approval role. I mean role with approval process. Why that? As I said, who will receive it? You can name it anything, but system understands or recognize something. It's like here in this case is system recognized like supervisor level 1. Who will be the approval? The supervisor in the level 1 that we define from approval role. Whatever role you assign to a process, automatically that will be assigned. So there are two things. First, the moment I hire you, at the time of hiring you, I assign you a manager. I assign you HRVP, all these things. So these things, these information will flow from the system itself to LMS, which we have integrated. Okay, so you are my manager in the system. The moment I hire you an employee central or the project, you will be updated as my manager in LMS as well, right? Okay, Once you're updated, your data is updated in this. Now if I create any item, okay. And I said who will be the approval. The first level person, or which is called a supervisor. Now, because you are maintained as supervisor in my system, in my information, the data will flow to you or the approval will flow. Perfect. Now, as I said, there is another thing which is called approval rule. Let's go and see that. Now, whatever approval I have assigned here, based on that process, our approval will be flowing like our second level supervisor. I said so second level supervisor can be who? The matrix manager may be, yep. A manager above my manager may be. Right. So I have to define that in our process. The moment I assign this here, automatically it will start flowing or accepting the approval process. Whoever is maintained in this approval process will automatically start receiving your request. Okay. Now the other thing I was talking about. The rule here. Approval rule. Very important rule as well. If I have created your data in the system, I will assign this rule to you or anybody else. Like two-level admin. I created two-level admin and I'll say which this rule should be assigned to this particular process. I started it and I create. Sorry, let me show you one. I give it a role. You go to any process. Here what you do, you assign the role IDs as well. Can you see the role ID? I said this rule should be assigned to this particular process. This process is there and sure who will be the person I assign one rule that I had created. Correct. This is the rule I created. I said and who this will be assigned to. Now coming to the very important part that is connected. Although as I said, You will not be asked to create it. You will not be asked to maintain it, but you should have idea around it how it works. Now the complexity of connector. You will realize how I'll show you a document that I found it for you. But it is very important. These are step-by-step things for connector. Very detailed document. Now, first of all, we start with provisioning. So you will have to see, because in order to make changes, you have to make changes in the provisioning itself, especially in order to work on the connector. If I click on provisioning, it shows that what all you have to do. So you will go and manage schedule. What do we do in provisioning? Through connector, we say that every time there is an update on your system, on your data, like you have an access in the system. Correct. Now, every time somebody is changing any data in your personal information or employment detail, that should get updated in LMS as well. That means there is a background data that is running from the background which updates everyone's information. What we will do? We will go to Manage Schedule Job and we will set this up. Just like that. You don't have to do anything. You just have to follow it. I go back on the top and I start from the. So what are the connectors in LMS and what do you use for? Although I'll show you a few things in the system also. Don't worry about it. Different kind of MS. This is very important. You should know the workbooks. So connector workbook. Workbook provides all the necessary details. Where can I find that connector workbook? I will partner. You will be able to see in the system and I'll show you a few of the settings that we do from the back end. Thank you. Give me a sec. Just a second. Somebody has that. Oh, so this is the front end. So this is what we do. So I'll show you some of the basic settings that we do in order to utilize our connector. And then, of course, we will have our data. So here we go. And in this you see this different connector types of elements. So it will explain you why we need like one of the connector is like item connector. Or let's say learning history connector. What does it provide? It records item-based completion of existing user. Completion of existing item records. Both the user and the item record must exist within the system. So you're getting me right. If I have completed any item even outside. Let's say we are moving to success factor element and I have done some trainings in the Oracle. Maybe I was using Oracle before. I will be able to fetch and download all the information from that connector to this element. So here it is, given that how you work on the elements connectors. You go to System Admin Configuration and System Configuration part. So let's go there. I go to top. Connectors and connector settings. This is for the connector settings that we have to do. Hold on. I'll start on. I've seen this a bit. connector. There's so many connectors. So many connectors. That's not the one. That's the one. Few things are not there in this system. That's the problem. Okay, no problem. We have few things. Let me see here. So, where do you go to system connectors and connectors view? Configuration. You don't see system configuration. Configuration. I don't see that. But system administration. So can you see the list? So if you initially I showed you that you can go to the projects and make some changes if you want to, like if I have to. So I will say it's very first thing you have to do. Enable should be true. You are using the LMS. Okay, MS should be true. And you have to provide your company's details. Now, just like that, you go to system configuration. Okay, and you have to go to on. Where is that connected? Here you have to define few things. Like very first thing. Is that on? So you have to tell the system how the system will behave. I mean the connector will behave or how this connector will run. So for that we have to update all these settings for that. Of course, as you see, go to connector and common connector contains this common connecting settings. You go to common connector settings. Okay, after input file should work. All these details. So, step by step, you follow and you see the connector. Input. File processing mode should be position. It should be based on the position. It should run upload for integrated connectors. Feed upload is default. Upload directory means the moment I uploaded, all the data will be updated. Oh, okay, the tenant name should be updated. So in this case, let's say we have support or 0 to whatever we should. Your company might be called as your company's ID. Yeah, whatever elements they are used. Just like that, you will see everything how it works. So how the connectors work? It happens what IS system? What is IS system? Whatever system you are using right now, okay, it can be successful. Employee, Central, Oracle, Workday, anything that you are using right now. What happens? It sends the information to BISX employee data import. BS is what? Whatever system you are going to use. Okay, or you are using for that. This BSX employee data import is converted into FTP, which is file transfer protocol. So this is a place where you save all the information in the provisioning. You define it and then all the details are propagated to MS connector, and NMS connector actually finds it and updates it in the LMS. Okay, this is how it works. There is a job that should do in the provisioning. If you remember, in the very beginning, I showed you in the manage schedule, we should do the job. The job we started should do the connector. LMS connector picks up the file, processes the file and archive and update that in the MS itself. So this is the background information or background story that runs in order to update any information or data. Export specific user from BS to MS. Let's say we have thousands of employees. You already shared all the details, but there is one employee for whom we want to do some specific data, like mostly for MD or high-level executive people. Okay, we generally do these big changes in the system. So what are the role, permission that we will assign as I just explained you? All these things you have to troubleshoot. Okay, this is very important. Transformation rule means how you want to send the LMS details to success. If there are rules, like I said for an example, if I hire somebody in Singapore time zone, automatically Singapore location, automatically his or her location time zone should be changed to Singapore time zone. Second, all the mandatory trainings which are attached to this location will be assigned to you. We do all these settings in the system itself. Okay, got it. Sierra especially helps with your address, mismatch like location and all. One example out of box configuration, coming and oh sorry, I'll help to address mismatch. Okay, so this is one that is very important, but this will take little time. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.